Say hi wherever you are, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It is Tuesday, September 14th. Armani and Edwards, and literally Armani and Edwards still today. Stan Edwards sitting in for Braylon today, my friend. How you doing, Stan?
I'm doing fine, Ryan. I know why I'm sitting here, because you guys did not want to change the moniker of the show today. So let's just find another Edwards. Not that he's qualified. His last name is Edwards, so that works.
No, and I think you are more than qualified, sir, to do it. Absolutely.
Sure.
So Braylon is out today. He is having some fun, hamming it up with some of the legends of our sports world. He's out there with Wayne Gretzky today, playing golf at the TPC in Dearborn.
Wait a minute, is that what he told you guys? No, that's not where he is. Where Braylon is, he's training because he's coming out of retirement. He got a text from Jared Goff, and Jared said, "Hey, man, I need you. Do you have anything left?" Braylon said, "Yes." Jared texts Calvin Johnson first, and Calvin said, "I'm not giving up my gold jacket." So Braylon's training to come back out of retirement.
Hey, man, at 38, I wouldn't doubt if you gave Braylon Edwards 3 months of working out that he could probably compete for a spot with the Detroit Lions. So Braylon's out there at TPC in Michigan, playing in a great golf tournament today with Wayne Gretzky and Barry Sanders. Maz, are you kidding me?
Must be nice.
Look at Braylon there. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, Braylon Edwards and Wayne Gretzky. How great is that?
Yeah, that's great. Anytime you get a chance to rub shoulders with greatness, you got to take advantage of it. Wayne Gretzky is actually one of the great ones, obviously.
As a former professional, guys like me, we get giddy when we, meet our heroes, for lack of a better way to say it. As a professional athlete, did you ever get excited to meet anybody, or was it just, was it just Wayne to you? You know what I mean?
No, there's different levels. We did get excited. Yeah. I remember meeting Muhammad Ali while I was a professional athlete, and ironically, a good friend of mine, I was always giddy around him. Urban Magic Johnson. Wow. We're both out of high school with the class of 1977. As I was getting recruited to Michigan State. For football, he was getting recruited from the Michigan State. For basketball, our paths have crossed all over the years. When I played for the Houston Oilers, he played for the LA Lakers. Obviously, I would see him all the time. But every time I was in his presence, I was in awe.
It's funny because, Braylon Edwards, one of the biggest names in the state of Michigan when it comes to collegiate athletes, a great career in the NFL, and he's excited, just in my personal conversations with him, to be around Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders is a guy I'm sure he's met a million times, but he loves Barry Sanders. Yeah, Barry is obviously, to folks, particularly anybody in football should be a huge Barry Sanders fan. And particularly here in the state of Michigan, Barry Sanders is football royalty. Had I played, I think, 2 more years with the Lions, I would have been the only running back in history to block for 4 Heisman Trophy running backs.
Wow.
How about that?
4.
How about that?
Yeah. But I wasn't good enough to staying around, so much for that
I think
trivia.
You were plenty good, Stan. Tom Mazaway along with us today.
Hey, guys, we got some great video. D-Mac, of course, sends it in because D-Mac is golfing in that same tournament. Check this out. They're on there with the GOAT himself, Barry Sanders.
All right, Big D Energy here. Look at, we got the big Bray. Bottom line, we're out here. MGM, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, you love him. Number 20, Barry Sanders. Saw the great one right there.
Nice swing.
The great one, Dave Roseman. And Wayne Gretzky. How was the swing?
It was a nice swing.
Nice swing.
Right down the middle.
Nice swing. Now we can see why DJ's so successful. Dino, Murph.
Barry Sanders standing over the ball. Dave Roseman's pretty close there, huh?
Of course he is.
Barry, attaboy.
That's great.
Oh!
Look at the reaction.
The GOAT.
Rosie involved there.
Yeah, he's on, all right.
He must be on the dance floor.
D-Mac there as well. He's
course.
having some fun.
You know he does. And you know what, man? What's more pressure? I want to ask you, Stan. Bunch of cameras around you golfing, or when you actually played the sport that you were good at?
It is not even close. Because you know that you're a world-class athlete, you want the rest of the world to know that you're great at everything. having cameras on you and you're not a professional golfer, you cannot imagine the amount of pressure, all the things that are going through your mind.
I was nervous for Barry.
And so was I.
I was nervous for all of them.
I was like, please hit it good.
I was nervous for Rosie standing too close. Don't get hit, Rosie. Don't get hit.
He doesn't care.
But we've got a great show today. What we think is we planned a great show. Will we execute? We'll see. But we planned a great show today. Lots of college football talk. We'll jump back into the Lions talk. But Stan, I want to start with a situation that happened yesterday. I think it kind of shocked everybody in the college football world. I'll get your take on it. USC, Southern Cal, fires Clay Helton after a 42-28 loss to Stanford.
He was fired after 2 games. That tells me that he was on the shortest of leash. You get fired after 2 games. They were waiting for you to either lose 2 games, spit on the sidewalk, or jaywalk. So clearly they were waiting for a good reason, and 2 games obviously was good enough reason to fire him. The culture had to be really bad going into the season for them to be ready to fire him so soon. Now, he had been at USC since 2010, so he had been in the program for a long time, but he clearly is not head coach material. Hello? We've seen this happen in Ann Arbor before, too. So he had a head coaching job before he's ready to take one.
And we're going to play some video for you. This was the Fox 11 report from Arash Markazi. This is an indication for you about what kind of was the mode of thinking there between UFC fans and the fact that they just wanted this guy out. Here he is. This is courtesy Fox 11.
Sound post-game was how quiet it was. USC fans are tired. They're tired of booing. They're tired of calling for Clay Helton's job. This has been 6 years going on where they are just tired of the product that they are seeing. And by the end of the game, they were all home. 42-13 was the score with 6 minutes left in the game, and there was only a few fans left at the Coliseum. The student section has seen enough. Alumni has seen enough. Traveler would have gone home if he could have. This was an embarrassment.
What's going on with Corum?
Throughout the tweets and the texts I've gotten from high-ranking alumni, Matt Leinart, Keyshawn Johnson, you go down the list, they've seen enough. Quite frankly, Clay Helton is a great man, a great father. He's just not a great football coach, and that doesn't make him a bad man. But at USC, they have national championship expectations. And this, what we saw tonight, what we've seen the past few years cannot continue. And finally, you are seeing a lot of alumni, big-name alumni, right? Matt Leinart, Keyshawn Johnson, that will continue. And once that happens, once you lose the support of the alumni, once you lose the support of the fan base, unfortunately, you have to lose your job.
Sounds familiar a little.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? My goodness. But Stan, the question that I'll ask to you is, if you have a guy that is on the shortest of leashes like Clay Helton was, somebody you know as well, he's, as you mentioned, he's been in the program since 2010, why do you even bring him back? Like, don't you? It's not like he's been there for 2 years, 3 years. You know who he is. If you're going to just fire him after 2 years, why not get that process started, after 2020? Why do that now and not 6 months ago?
I tell you why, because the person or the short list that they wanted is not available. So they thought they would go through the season right now and have people have more time. The guys that are whoever on their short list, and there's some names out there that we'll probably go over.
Pop it up.
They wanted to give him an opportunity and also let the word out there after the season started. Can you start getting your staff together? Let's talk to your agency. Want to be able to do that, because what's going on right now is USC starting to posture themselves. They're starting to look at candidates and what their buyout clauses are, and talking to their alumni and the base to find out, are we willing to pay these buyouts to get some of the coaches that we're looking for?
And if you're watching on YouTube or in Twitter, I want to put this back up, Alex, if you could. Here are some of the coaches, and they list 10 coaches, 5 head coaches, 5 assistant coaches on here. Luke Fickell among this list, James Franklin, PJ Fleck, 2 Big Ten coaches in there. Luke Fickell, a lot of success in Cincinnati. I don't know what his relationship to the West Coast is, other than the athletic director at USC now hired him at Cincinnati. So that's the connection to the athletic director. But if he's got any recruiting ties out West, I would say that's perhaps the biggest tie that he would need to get that job. But the name you see down there in the bottom is an intriguing one to me, and that's Urban Meyer. Stan, Urban Meyer lost his first Week 1 game that he's ever coached in. He coached at Bowling Green. He's coached at Utah, Florida, Ohio State. He never lost a Week 1 game in his life, except for this game against Houston in the NFL for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Meyer's name is not going to go away either.
It's not going to go away. Clay Helton is USC's version of a Michigan man. They just had to have him because of his ties to the program, and it didn't work out. You said it. Had you showed that list again, keep an eye on number 5 for a couple of reasons. One, Urban Meyer is not going to get embarrassed more than 1 year down in Jacksonville. I don't think so. What USC will not make the mistake again is looking at the right side of that list of those candidates and pick an assistant coach. They're not going to do that again.
Can't do it.
They messed up there, so they're going to go after a head coach. I think the number 1 candidate on the list is Urban Meyer. Number 2 is James Franklin.
Yeah, and look, he's an LA guy. I mean, he loved living out there in Los Angeles last year, doing big noon kickoff, making $6 million for never losing a game.
Absolutely.
That's a really good gig to have, and I'm sure his family life really appreciated that as well. That job was not open when he took the Jacksonville job. So, I mean, I do think that is the number 1 target for the USC Trojans.
Listen, that job would have been open if they asked Urban Meyer to come to USC and he said, well, you got Clay Helton there. He's like, well, we'll get rid of him. He could have had that job last season. He went to the NFL because that's most college coaches' dreams.
Agreed.
Is to go to the NFL. Nick Saban went to the NFL. They didn't give him enough time. He comes running back. He goes to Alabama. How about this? What else can he do at Alabama? Why not next year make a run at Nick Saban?
You know what?
That's a great thought.
I thought that should happen here in Detroit last year because they obviously won their 7th national championship. Nick Saban and his staff, they won their 7th. There's nothing left for him to do at Alabama. I thought that Sheila Ford Hamp should have gone right for Tuscaloosa and made an offer to Nick Saban. But, you know,
there's also the thing of I don't want my record tarnished. There's so many coaches, and the whisper around the league is coaches go to Detroit Lions to die. I don't think Nick Saban wanted to end his career at a place where nobody has been successful.
Can I ask you about Urban Meyer a little bit more, and we'll get into some Michigan talk as well in the next segment. How long does a guy like that go before the losing is just too much for him? Because the NFL isn't like college where you can just go recruit your guys and then you turn it around in a year or in a couple of weeks. I mean, this thing could be a long, drawn-out process. Will he stay in Jacksonville? How much longer will Urban Meyer go before he comes back to college? We'll talk to Stan about that and get you some numbers on the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week and the Defensive Player of the Week. Both reside in Ann Arbor. Michigan Wolverines game this week against Northern Illinois. We'll talk to Stan Edwards about that. Braylon out today playing golf with the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Why not? Armani and Edwards. And still today, Armani and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz for our good friends and our studio sponsor, MyBookie.ag. Don't forget, use that promo code Woodward, you first-timers, because you'll get your first deposit matched all the way up, dollar for dollar, up to $1,000. That goes right in your pocket to do what you want with it. Put 100 in, get 100 back. Put 1,000 in, get 1,000 back. You can do it. You can bet college football, NFL, baseball coming down the stretch. You can do it all. It's always a winning season at MyBookie.ag. How about 18 weeks of the NFL? 1 week in the rearview mirror already. 17 to go. Lions taking on the Packers on Monday Night Football. What are you going to do with that one? Don't forget, Lions, the most bet on win over 5 team in the NFL, and the most bet on under team, under 5 in the NFL. Do it at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Gambling problem? Call the National Problem Gambling Helpline at 800-522-4700.
I still contend that the reason the Lions are the most bet team this year is because of the legalization in our state of gambling.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Right?
All the slappies.
Right? Got a lot
Why
of
else would you be betting?
Right, exactly. We're going to get into some Michigan talk momentarily, but I wanted to stick with some college football talk. In this situation with USC, Clay Helton out after a 42-28 embarrassing loss to Stanford. He's out. And the name that everybody's going to bring up now is Urban Meyer. And you just look at Urban Meyer on the sidelines for Jacksonville, 6 drop passes, 10 penalties, burning timeouts left and right this week in a blowout loss to one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Houston Texans. I don't know how long Urban Meyer stomachs that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a foregone conclusion that Urban will be at USC next year. What you have to watch with Urban is as the year progresses on, if the losses get worse and worse, and all of a sudden he puts too much hot sauce on his food and he gets heartburn and he starts having health challenges again. I've never seen a guy overcome so many health issues in my life.
And wind up in better situations.
All the time. All the time. So I think as the year goes on, you'll find out.
Can he really do that, Stan? Because he brings all these guys to Jacksonville, his coaching staff. He gets these players to get in. They invest in Trevor Lawrence. Can he really walk away after a year? I can't see
he
that.
doesn't care. That's who he is. And the reason why he doesn't care, because he's a good man, but he's always been successful. So he's allowed some leeway to make some very outlandish decisions and just walk away at a moment's notice. So he'll get away with it.
Yeah, and he does, and he probably could go back to college and win. And you talk about challenges. We talk about what does Nick Saban have left to do at Alabama. I mean, Urban Meyer would be, I believe, if he went to USC, and we're speculating now, but he'd be the first college coach to go to win 3 national championships with 3 different schools. Sure. I mean, that is something that you have to consider, because he's not going to catch Nick Saban in 7, but that would put him on any list.
And that program out at USC is the program to do it for. You had a great recruiting base with the West Coast, and they will give you everything you need. It's different than trying to come and be successful with the Detroit Lions. The alumni base, the former players, being out in sunny California is a prime opportunity for any coach, particularly Saban or Meyer, to go there and be successful and win right away.
And you know those guys that he worked with last year on Big Noon Kickoff, Reggie Bush and Matt
Sure.
Leinart,
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
calling him already.
Yes,
they're
they are.
calling him with the quickness.
Yeah.
Speaking of quickness, Dan, it was a big, big night for Blake Corum and the Michigan Wolverines and Aiden Hutchinson. Let me put up some tweets for you right now. Blake Corum, the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, just a fantastic game. And one of the first times, Stan, we were doing this show together, you came on here and talked about how Michigan lacks speed. This is one guy who does not lack speed. This guy can change a game because of that speed.
In college football today, back in the old days when I played, you could dominate, have 6 to 10, 8, 9 play drives throughout the game. You can't do that anymore. Teams are so evenly skilled now, you have to find a way to score and to score big from 50 yards out. Blake Corum gives Michigan that opportunity to do that. He is not only fast, he's a darn good running back. He is just not a product of a good blocking offensive line, and they are a good blocking offensive line. But he slips and slides and finds holes and finds creases and seams and creates his home runs by being able to be a good back with great vision and tremendous acceleration.
Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive player of the week in the Big Ten. And I'll tell you this much, if there's one thing about Michigan football that I'm just thrilled at, at least through 2 games, it looks like that defense is a little bit improved. To say the least.
The defense is improving. Aiden Hutchinson is an absolute stud. A lot of people are putting him in the same conversation with Brandon Graham. I'm not sure if he's there yet. Let's see him do against some better offensive tackles, offensive linemen to do that. But the way he's playing right now is lights out for a down lineman. He is probably by far, if you were going to have an Outland Trophy or Defensive Player of the Year award, he would be at the top of the list.
And the way he's being used, too, by Mike McDonald, being lined up all over the defensive line there,
Absolutely.
I think that is an exciting thing to see for a Michigan fan as well because of, and we talked about this before, how predictable Michigan's defense was to the other team. They're not so predictable anymore.
You know what? Talking about Coach McDonald is the opposite of talking about Clay Helton. Sometime you have an assistant doing something, because McDonald hadn't been a coordinator before. Mm-hmm. But Coach Harbaugh saw enough of him and learned enough about him that he's ready to take this job. And so sometimes you have to be a good administrator or a head coach to find out this person has never held this position before, but I hear what I need to hear to know that they're going to be successful.
I want to ask Stan something, and I want to go back a little bit.
Sure.
Clay Helton versus Jim Harbaugh.
Right.
Okay, Harbaugh had 6 years here. Helton said he's been around for 11 years at USC. You heard the big guys, Keyshawn Johnson, maybe Marcus Allen.
He's been with the program, not the head
right.
coach, but with the program. Right.
Exactly. I'm just saying, you heard the higher-ups in the background speak up and say, hey, it's time to move on from this guy.
Right.
How close were they here at Ann Arbor to moving on from Jim Harbaugh?
I don't think they were close at all. And
why?
Well, because of his resume. Because that's what he had that Clay Helton did not have. Clay Helton does not have experience of leading a team to a championship level and sustaining it for a long period of time. Jim Harbaugh had that. When Jim Harbaugh was not successful for some years here in the past few years, it was a head scratcher to everyone because they know he had done it before. He had coached in a Super Bowl. So because his name and reputation and experience, it bought him some time and the benefit of the doubt to continue to have him as a head coach at the University of Michigan.
You've been around and you hear the whispers and you watch the games.
Yeah.
He's not in many of those big games. Those big games, Michigan has been dominated.
0-11 against ranked teams on the road.
So let's take a guy just like me watching the game.
Sure.
Being a big fan, never playing for the school.
Right.
But being prideful. They wore me out. I hardly watched a game the last year. What I mean by that is I didn't even concentrate and put my heart and soul into the last year or so because of how bad they become. I was embarrassed as a fan.
Absolutely. And if his name...
That's the way I feel.
Sure.
I mean, you do the apple orchard on Sunday. I was going on Saturday as well.
Right. If his name wasn't Harbaugh, he would not be the head coach today.
100%.
And because he is a good coach, and it's only been 2 games, so we won't get too far ahead of ourselves, it looks like this is what we thought we would get years ago, and it looks like it's being turned around. We just have our fingers crossed. We'll know something in the next 8 weeks.
A bit of good news for the Michigan Wolverines. They are back in the top 25. I do think that's important to be in that group. Here it is, Michigan in at number 25. The Big Ten showing some love, getting some love. 6 of the 14 teams, but 6 teams in the Big Ten in the top 25. Only the SEC has more with 7, and Michigan State with a win at Miami this week. That could be their 7th team in the top 25. So the Big Ten getting some love here nationally, Stan.
Michigan State playing Miami this week is going to be a very intriguing game. It could be close to the game that defines, Mel Tucker's program. So I honestly think they will beat, because I think they have a good team, and I know they have a really, really good coaching staff in East Lansing. And so I think they're going to beat University of Miami, Florida, and we'll get that 7th team in the top 25. There's some good coaches in the Big Ten. I don't know that they're more overall better coaches in the SEC. They're obviously the best coaches there, but the better players are in the Southeastern Conference. But there's some good coaches in the Big Ten, which is why you see as many as you do in the top 25.
Very deep. And speaking of coaching, I want to ask you about Jim Harbaugh coming up next. He had some comments about why so many runs last week as opposed to throwing the football. I want to ask you about their passing game. Can they throw the football? Can they do this every week? I got a lot of questions for you, Stan.
You got it.
Coming up next, you'll hear from Jim Harbaugh next as well. This is Armani and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
start a new career that is in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
The great Alex Meyer, essential to us here.
Al May to you.
On the program. We absolutely love him here. northwesterntech.edu. Stan Edwards in for Braylon Edwards today. Braylon and D-Mac both out on their respective shows today. They got a good excuse, though. Right. Playing golf with Barry Sanders and Wayne Gretzky. I think that classifies.
Must be nice. Yeah.
Right. I want one of those invites.
Exactly.
Sticking with college football here, Stan. Jim Harbaugh is being criticized. I criticized him yesterday. I'm sure he cares so much and lost all this sleep last night.
I'm sure he did.
Because of my criticism of the lack of passing. But 56 carries last week. Terrible through the air. But here is Jim Harbaugh talking about why so many runs against Washington this week. This is courtesy of Brad Galley, Channel 7.
And I heard a little bit of noise about, why so much running, you're going to throw more, that kind of thing. There's a lot of ways to travel. I mean, some people choose to travel on the ground, some people by air. George Patton was able to get his job done on the ground. Neil Armstrong through the air. Last Saturday night, we chose to grind it out on the ground. And we're also able to get our mission accomplished.
It's just, it's great, but
it's good history lesson.
It's just so, it's so different. Is that? It's just such a different approach. Now, just to recap it for you, yesterday, Stan, I said if Michigan can run the ball for 56 carries every week and 300+ yards, go 12-0, never trail, and win the national championship, I'll shut my mouth and never talk again. I am concerned, though, that at some point this season they will trail, and they will trail by more than one score. Right. I am concerned that when they go on the road to Camp Randall or wherever, that they are going to trail and need a passing attack to get back in the game. I don't think this is a way you can win college football championships without any passing attack whatsoever. 7 of 15, 44 yards, and no touchdowns, no picks.
Only Jim Harbaugh can play the Neil Armstrong and George Patton card in a football interview. So at a press conference. So you're exactly right. I think they know something that we are starting to uncover is I don't believe they're very comfortable with their passing attack is right now. And I think it might be less than the quarterback. It might be more of the fact that Ronnie Bell's not there. And a lot of these young guys, they have to learn to get off the ball. They have to learn to get in out of cuts. They have to learn to get open on the run. We threw the ball against Western Michigan, which is, again, Western Michigan is not, it's a Division I school. So
and an upper echelon Mets team, too, which is a pretty decent conference.
Yeah, and so I got to believe that two things will happen. One, they will build the passing attack when they need to. They will not be able to win against Ohio State and not pass the ball. And some of the better teams, Penn State and Wisconsin, without passing the ball. And I know they know that. To the extent that they can have a superior dominant running game, it will obviously help the passing attack. But I think at some point in time, one of the two things is going to happen. We're going to see what they were hiding in their passing attack and what are the ill effects of it, or we'll see them grow in the passing game and they'll be able to play some good, sound football.
Does the quarterback do anything for you? Cade McNamara. I mean, look, and I don't even know if it's fair to assess him at all. This was the first game without Ronnie Bell, and I'm still not even certain we have any idea whatsoever what effect the lack of Ronnie Bell's presence on the field is going to do for this passing game. But it's almost as if they didn't even try this week.
Yeah, and that's the head scratcher about it. I'm okay with McCartney. I think he's a very adequate quarterback, a little bit above game manager. But without even trying some of the passes, I've never really seen that unless all the quarterbacks on the roster got hurt, and you had to put a wide receiving running back at quarterback, and you decided to run wildcat and option. That's not what happened. They chose not to throw the ball, and in some cases early in the game against Washington, it was, wait a minute now, what are we doing? Are we trying to keep these guys in the game? So it was not very smart, in my opinion, to not develop the passing game when you have an opportunity to do so.
One of the knocks on Josh Gaddis over 1 year and 2 games has been the play calling. Lack of a creativity in play calling. That 4th down play on the goal line where they just run it up the middle as if it's 1985. I mean, that as a fan frustrates me so much when you give the ball up the middle. I mean, I don't want to pick one play out, but that's one play that just drove me nuts.
Well, no, Josh Gaddis, I still think, is learning on the job. He was not the offensive coordinator. He was offensive coordinator in waiting at the University of Alabama. But when you have those kind of studs, you got Heisman Trophy candidate running backs, you got linemen that would be going in the first round, some of them in the top 20 pick. When you got those kind of twos and athletes to work with, it makes your job so much more easier. He doesn't have that in Ann Arbor. He's got some good players. And so I think sometimes he gets caught between when you have to be creative and when you can just play man ball. And I think right now they're not really quite sure how to always figure that out.
Hey, we have a question from YouTube. Mike G, one of our YouTube guys, wanted to know, Stan, wanted to ask you if Cade McNamara's footwork kind of concerns you. I know it's only been a game and a half, but do you think he has good footwork, or do you think maybe it's time? Well, I'm not going to say bring in J.J. McCarthy yet. Well, what the hell? I'll say bring in J.J. McCarthy and ride it out. You're not going to win a national title this year.
No, his footwork does not concern me because we haven't seen enough bad plays out of him to suggest that there's a problem there. And so I would stay with Cade as long as we need to until there's a time we need to make a change. And after 2-0, there's no need to make a change, and they haven't struggled in the game yet. When it gets to the point, I think you have to make a decision when it's time that decision gets forced upon you. Right now, no, he's fine.
The first test I see this team being faced with is Rutgers. We're probably going to see another game, maybe. I mean, I don't know. As a Michigan fan, I don't know if we take any games for granted anymore. But you know, Northern Illinois is a team coming into the Big House this week, and I'm not sure you're going to see much different.
They beat Georgia Tech.
Tech is a terrible football team.
I'm just saying that they've always been a tough team.
The great Rocky Lombardi coming.
Why not?
You know,
he's beat him before.
Yeah, I want to see more from Michigan in terms of a passing attack, and maybe some people in Ann Arbor think I'm a bad person for expecting more from this passing game. I am uncomfortable with relying on the run game so much. You know, you go back, they threw 3 touchdowns against Western Michigan, but one of those was to Ronnie Bell, who is not there anymore. One of them was this miraculous play from J.J. McCarthy. That was all him. J.J. McCarthy rolling to his right, throwing back over to his left. That was all that kid's creativity. So, you know, they have 1 touchdown out there in 2 games from Cade McNamara to a player not named Ronnie Bell.
Well, to your point, Mass, I think Northern Illinois is a very sound football program, and if we beat them handily, I am one step closer to saying this Michigan team could be interesting going down the stretch. I don't know how well Northern Illinois is as a team because we don't quite, to your point, know exactly how good Georgia Tech is. But Northern Illinois, over the years, have produced some quality players and had quality teams. And so a win this weekend, a win that's relatively easy for us, I think really starts to suggest that we might be on to something here, and we'll find out soon enough.
Before week 1, Stan, I tweeted out that Michigan was going to win 10-plus games, beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten championship. So that is why I have a stake in the game here, just so I can, back up my tweet. Here is a list of the games this weekend. A big one, Auburn at Penn State. You've got Cincinnati at Indiana. This is a look around the Big Ten. One thing I want to do, though, is I want to put up, we mentioned Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan apparently has a banner in their Schembechler Hall where they beat Ohio State. There it is right there. What are you doing to beat Ohio State today? We talk about how the rivalry has seemingly been minimized from Michigan's point of view. Ohio State talks about how they live, breathe, crap, eat Michigan stuff all year round. Finally, it looks like we're taking this rivalry every bit as serious.
Well, and over the years, I have heard that once a week during the season, Ohio State did something to prepare for Michigan. That's been well known. putting up something in a locker room today, in a Michigan locker room. What are you doing today to beat Ohio State? I guess that's okay. I guess that's important. But when I played, and I don't know about when Braylon played, we never talked about Ohio State until we were getting ready to play Ohio State. Ohio State was not on our mind. Bo Schembechler would not allow us to look past the game that we were getting ready to play. Now, the coaching staff may have been preparing Ohio State every week throughout the year. We never talked. I had a drill that had anything to do with Ohio State until we were getting ready to play Ohio State.
Speaking of drills, there is now a drill, apparently a 9-on-7 drill. It is called the Beat Ohio drill. Jim Harbaugh credits Michigan's 9-on-7 drill for helping the O-line forge its toughness and physicality that led to the run game success versus Washington. Turns out the team calls it the Beat Ohio drill. That is from Isaiah Hull on Twitter. Is it the Oklahoma drill or the Ohio drill, Stan?
I hated the 9-on-7 drill. So with the 9-on-7 drills is 9 players on offense, 7 players on defense. So you would think that there's an advantage on offense. Well, there's a quarterback, so it's really 8-on-7. The quarterback's not going to block anybody. But on the 9-on-7 drill, here's what the advantage is to the defense. It's between the tackles. And you're going to only run plays that is between the tackle gaps and the guard gaps. You're not going to run sweeps. You're not going to pass the ball. Every play you know is coming right here. So the defense has a little bit of an advantage not to look very far as where the ball is going. But that I didn't like the drill because when they moved me to fullback, I mean, I had to block all the time. And I wasn't a very big fullback, but I had to do what I had to do. But that drill really determines how you're going to play the run and how you're going to run the football.
Plenty of focus, though, on the Ohio State game for Michigan this time around. And I keep saying, if not now, then when?
Right.
You've got a freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman quarterback. The defense for Ohio State looks really atrocious. I mean, I don't use that word lightly. Atrocious. Oregon was falling forward, beating them up physically.
Right.
So if not now, then when? You got them at home this year.
Well, like I said, we never did anything as a team or players to prepare for Ohio State until the week of Ohio State. But if this is what's going to take, because we haven't done it in the past 15, 18, 20 years, I'm all for it.
Get into some Detroit Lions talk next. Dan Campbell has some interesting comments to make regarding whether or not Taylor Decker will move to the right side when he is ready to play because of how great Penei Sewell looked against Nick Bosa. We'll have those comments for you next. Having some fun with Stan Edwards today, in for Braylon, who's playing golf with Barry Sanders and Wayne Gretzky. Why not? Armani and Edwards, right. Woodward Sports Network.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 5-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
All right, right back here on the bottom line. Ryan Armani, Stan Edwards in today for Braylon, Tom Mazaway alongside. We'll get into some Lions talk now. And it is official. We talked about this yesterday. Jeff Okudah is done for the year with a torn Achilles. Just a thought on Okudah, Stan. Feel bad for the kid, but again, it's really difficult, the injury. But just I have not seen anything from him to prove that he can be a good player in this league.
Yeah, you're right about that. Let's go back to who drafted him here. When I saw him play in college, I thought he was a top player. He was not a top 10. He was not a top 20 pick for me. So I don't know how we thought he was going to have that kind of effect at pick number 4 or 5.
3.
Pick number 3. He was not that kind of player. So that was a lot of pressure was put on him then. And when he finally played, he didn't play well. Now he tore his Achilles tendon. His name is going to be mentioned with the likes of Jamarcus Russell, Tony Mandrich, and some of the other folks that have been busts.
Just all-time busts.
Yeah, and playing that position and having a torn Achilles tendon, I don't ever see him coming back and being the player that he probably could have become at some point.
And I hate to call a 22-year-old kid a bust because he didn't take himself number 3.
No, he did not.
Right?
No, he did not.
You know,
Right.
but again, and now with the injury, it's going to be really difficult for him to come back and ever perform to the capability that, you know, many believe that he would perform to. It's just a waste of a pick, and you want to know why a franchise continues to stay bad. You forget about third-round picks or fourth-round picks or fifth-round picks. You got to get the first-round pick right.
Yeah, and you know, medical technology and medical protocols have improved over the years, but when you tear Achilles tendon and your job is to really run a long time, I can't see him be able to become the player that they thought he would become with those kind of injuries. So I really feel bad for the young man. If he's smart, he may need to take 2 years off.
Yeah.
I don't know that he'd be ready to run by this time next year.
Can he switch over to safety? Is that going to be any type of relief for him from corner?
He's going to have to change his body type. He's not big enough to play safety in the NFL. But let me take a step back also. Depending on what kind of safety is he in coverage safety? He's going to be in the box safety. He's going to flop back and forth. He probably have the skill set and the mental capacity to play safety, but the body to play safety in the league, you have to come up and make tackles and make plays.
Tua, Herbert, Lawrence, Fields.
Yep.
I can go on and on and on. These were the guys that were there for the past 2 years.
Yep.
And we have this.
Yeah.
Look, when you look, Penei Sewell, though, I find this interesting. I want to play this soundbite from Dan Campbell, and this is courtesy of Brad Galley, Channel 7 as well. The talk is, you know, Taylor Decker is your left tackle.
Correct.
That's the guy you paid to be your left tackle.
Yep.
Penei Sewell, a 20-year-old kid who did not play at Oregon last year because of COVID. He took the year off because of the COVID policy. The Lions draft him number 7. They move him to the right side, which is not his natural position.
Right.
He looked lost in the preseason.
Yep.
Decker gets injured. He's on the injured list, so they move Sewell to the left side again,
Right.
and all he does is look like an all-pro against one of the best defenders in the National Football League in Nick Bosa. Here's what Dan Campbell had to say about, well, when Taylor Decker gets back now, do you consider moving him to the right side and leaving Sewell on the left side? Here he is.
We're so far away from that right now. We're just, you know, how do we put the best lineup out there for Green Bay right now? And, you know, we'll worry about that when Decker comes back. But right now, I know that we feel good with Sewell being at left. You know, we asked him to move over there, and he accepted the challenge, did well, and we're going to need another good performance out of him because these guys, they've got some good players over there as well, good rushers.
How great is that? You know what you didn't hear there, Stan?
Right.
No. Taylor Decker is our left tackle.
You did not. You did not hear no, and you shouldn't hear no, because when you have a left tackle, a premium left tackle in the league, and they can play at that level and block Bosa that way, you cannot make a change. You cannot be so forgiving to Taylor Decker, like this is your spot, you had it. No. A left tackle was a premium. Think about what happened to Taylor Lewan last week. Taylor Lewan gave up 4 sacks.
Yep.
He's an all-pro left tackle. And when you find someone that can play that position and play it as good as anybody around, you can't make the change. Taylor Decker has to go to right tackle.
I absolutely agree with you.
Hey, my man Logan Lamardier put out a pretty good stat here today. Put that up, Alex. Look at these numbers here. 11th is the offensive lineman. That was Penei Sewell. But the top rookie O-lineman, that's what he was ranked. And look who's the number 1 center ranked in the NFL. Our own Frank Ragnow, who is the highest paid center, but is now number 1. So that's some good. That's something to look up to.
Yeah. If there was one bright spot, I think, for the Lions this week, their rushing game was pretty darn good. They just had they just had to abandon it when they were down, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm on the fence whether I think the Lions are in for a good or bad season. What I do know is when you have a team come in here and they get up on you that quick, I don't want to get too down on the Lions. Here's what the Lions got to figure out. In a real game, who's responsible for what? The chatter on the sideline, the communication and everything. It may have taken them a half to figure out, okay, this preseason doesn't really get you ready for the regular season.
Especially when nobody's playing.
Nobody's really playing. And so the Lions may have taken a half of a game to figure out who's responsible for what. And so once they got that figured out in the second half, did they become the team that, hey, this is a pretty good team, or did the 49ers take the foot off the gas pedal and just decide to, this game is over with, we're ready to go home, and then allow the Lions to stay in the game and make it look like it was a game?
The Niners did take their foot off the gas pedal, no question. They got caught with their pants down because the old Lion teams would quit. This Lion team with Dan Campbell and all those pro coaches, they ain't going to quit.
No.
This team will not quit.
How difficult is it going to be to evaluate Jared Goff this year? Because
you can't.
It's nearly impossible. And I say that because, there was one play, it was 3rd and 1. Anthony Lynn draws up the perfect 3rd and 1 play, and the guy drops the pass.
Right.
I mean, wide open, guy drops the pass. How do you evaluate Jared Goff? Because all many fans will see is that the punter's coming onto the field and Jared Goff's walking off the field. They should have a new set of downs, and you're out there. And I just don't know how to evaluate the quarterback when you don't have many pros out there catching the football from him.
This is the Detroit Lions fans. You will evaluate Jared Goff based on how well Matt Stafford does or does not do. Right now, you don't feel real good about Jared Goff because Matt Stafford looks like Johnny Unitas.
Oh my goodness, he looks like the greatest quarterback.
Yes, he does.
Out there. What do you, Maz?
There's some more good Dan Campbell stuff.
Okay.
On how to get by without Jeff Okudah. Here's something from Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been working hard, and he's really quietly has really improved. He's another guy from spring, has just quietly had a good spring and a good camp. And so, yeah, he's probably, there's a good chance he's the next guy up. But look, we've got 2 other young guys too, Bobby Price and Jacobs. So we're going to put the best combination out there and see where we go. But listen, it's next man up. And we said that from day one. It doesn't matter who's in there. All that matters is who's in there, does what they're asked to do, and do it the very best that they can do it.
Thanks, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you got some background noise here. It just started pouring. But beyond Iffy, what else can you do in the secondary? Do you need to add a vet at some point, or is there something else you can do for insurance purposes?
Well, certainly we need to add someone just to help us on the overall roster, even from a practice standpoint. So we're looking into that. Brad's looking into it, and that's coming. That'll probably be sooner than later, but it'll be somebody that's going to help us just overall depth for sure.
But you like the.
Yeah, so there's the head coach, Dan Campbell, talking about the injury to Jeff Okudah and where they go from here. He also talked about his initial reactions after watching the 49ers game film. I want to play a clip of that for you as well.
No, I mean, it goes without saying. I just there's still things that it's everything that you guys know that we know. I would say no. There's nothing that surprised me. There's so many little details to the game on both sides of the ball, even from alignment to what they did to us schematically, to the way we aligned. Man, we weren't moving the front or clipping the front the way we should have. Our gap responsibilities were not where they need to be. Offensively, our route depth, just all the little things, man, that go with playing this game. We've got to clean up. But the positive is that if we just clean those up, now let's see where we stand. It's one thing to you've done all the little things right and then you lose the game. But let's see what it looks like when we do all the little things right. I'd be willing to bet we're probably going to win that game.
Yeah, but the only problem, Stan, is how long does it take to do all the little things right?
Yeah, it's going to take them a while. Losing Okudah might not mean as much as some people think. It is the most difficult position to play on the field, cornerback, from a skill perspective. But that is a position, if they're very well coached, you can put somebody and plug somebody in there that can really hold the ship and stop the dam from bursting open and doing that. But there was one name that came up, and I don't want to steal the thunder. Mash, you mentioned the name, and I think that would be an awfully smart move.
And his name is Richard Sherman. And I know he got in a little bit of trouble in the offseason with his family.
That's not trouble.
I'm just saying. Well,
yeah.
Well, there's a reason.
He was in the news.
He was in the news. The 49ers.
Isn't everybody in the news?
From what I understand, I have friends in the 49ers that works in the radio department out there.
Sure.
That says they were ready to sign him until that happened.
So he can still play. Can he play or can he not play?
That's the 49ers.
Correct.
The Lions are not the 49ers.
Right. No, they're not.
He brings so much other value to your organization. You need to be willing to take a chance with that guy, because if you look at his history, he had one bad night. There may have been 100 bad nights that we don't know about.
I love the guy.
Well, he's had one bad night, and I think where our franchise is, we can't afford to just look over that guy and say, that's not the kind of guy we want. No. He's a Super Bowl champion and a winner and a darn good player.
And a potential
somebody
Hall
who
of
might
Famer.
have a
Potential Hall of Famer.
Might have a gold jacket. You cannot overlook him.
But remember, before he signed with the Niners, there was word, hey, maybe he'll go to the Lions. And he kind of poo-pooed. I'm not going to go to Detroit. You know, they got no chance to win. That was with Quinn and Patricia.
Right.
Maybe this is different.
This could be different. Let's hope that it is.
Give him a call. No doubt about it. Hey, guys, man, chill out. We've got some fun ones. We'll do that next. Armani and Edwards, Stan Edwards in for Braylon Edwards today. Braylon again playing golf with Wayne Gretzky and Barry Sanders, man. And our guy D-Mac, too. Whoop. For Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hey guys, let's be honest. We love simple stuff, right? We like things uncomplicated. All we want is football 5 days a week. Why not? You know what also is uncomplicated? Lady Jane's haircuts for men. All you got to do, walk in, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you are looking handsome and clean. And if I may, I walked into the Armani household yesterday after a nice cut here from Lady Jane's, and my wife said, ooh, nice hair, buddy. Handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome. Also, wicked awesome is a segment, a dubious segment that we like to call Man Chill Out.
You think it's funny?
Chill, Daddy.
Pack your bags, get the hell off. Now, do you understand what you did?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
All right, this is a segment that Braylon created that, we just kind of go out and call out something that we just are uncomfortable with. We don't want to see anymore. It's like, chill out, man. So, Stan, would you like to go first, or would you like to?
I'll go first.
Okay.
All righty.
Very good.
So, to all of the boxing fans who want to see these way overheal boxers who are one punch away from the emergency room or worse, chill out, please.
Chill out, man. I am here for Evander Real Deal Holyfield.
Oh,
man.
Stop it, Evander. Stop Mike.
Stan,
stop all you guys. Roy Jones Jr.
I think Mike Tyson could win the heavyweight championship of the world still to this day.
No, he can't.
I think he could. Tyson Fury.
Come on.
Versus Iron Mike Tyson.
Yeah. These guys are not much younger than I, and they had no business doing what they're doing now because they're asking for a lot of trouble health-wise.
Holyfield was knocked out this weekend, in case you missed it. 58-year-old.
Yeah.
Evander Holyfield.
That was this weekend?
Yeah.
Didn't Trump call that fight or something like that?
I think he was on.
I think he was on the broadcast.
Oh. Fish, do you know anything about this fight at all?
What do you know about it, Fish?
Yeah, he was part of the commentary for the fight on Saturday.
What happened to poor Evander? How long did it go?
He was knocked out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the first minute.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, maybe I should have listened to you a little bit more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man, chill out for sure.
Please, Evander, stay home, man. We love you.
Maz, do you want to go?
Of course.
Okay,
I'll go. Hey, I'm happy that Stan Edwards is here because he's always been one of my guys. Always had him on my past radio shows.
Sure.
I'm so happy to know him officially now. Braylon's dad. Braylon's not here today. My other guy, D-Mac. Love Darren McCarty. I bust his chops all the time. You going to miss work again? Why are you missing work? Braylon, Well, I know you had these days off coming, but what do you got to do? You got to go to the doctor? What do you got to do? Oh, no, you got to play golf.
Golf!
Oh, you got to play golf. This is one of the reasons I despise the game of golf. It's because people that I work with for the past 25 years in this media business always have to bust my chops and take days off. Maz, you got to fill. Maz, you got to find somebody. Maz, I'm not going to be here. These are things I do for the people. I do it for the people. I go out and golf for the people. Man, chill out with this golf.
Hey.
You guys make me root for the snow so you don't have to golf. Please, enough of this golf. If you're going to golf on the freaking weekends. Don't golf on my time.
Maz, why don't you go to golf first and then maybe you'll enjoy it?
No. How can anyone even do 18 holes? It's the most boring thing I've ever seen in my entire life. How boring.
It can be peaceful, but these guys play golf because D-Mac and Braylon and those guys are that ilk. They made way too much money, so they can always do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Call it jealousy.
Yeah.
I can't wait till I have that problem.
It's a day off of work.
I hope I have that problem
I gotta
one day.
golf.
Guys, we were waiting for it, and it looks like we could have an interesting situation here when the New Orleans Saints line up against the Carolina Panthers this weekend for Week 2 of the NFL. That is because, as of now, 8 members of the New Orleans Saints organization have tested positive for COVID-19. Now, 6 of them are coaches, 1 is a player, and 1 is the nutritionist. So we don't know anything about the vaccination statuses of these people, but I do believe that all of the coaching staff, all of them are vaccinated. But you know, what happens if you can't have any coaches? What happens if you don't have any coaches coach the game this weekend against Carolina Panthers? If you are vaccinated, you need 2 negative COVID tests for you to come back. There's no limited amount of days. You don't have to sit out 14 days or anything like that. Just have to provide, if you're vaccinated, 2 back-to-back negative tests. So just an interesting thing to follow this week. How many more members of the New Orleans Saints will test positive for COVID? But this isn't for a player or a coach or anybody. This is for COVID-19 itself. COVID-19, man, chill out.
Hey, here's what we'll know. I bet all of those coaches were on one side of the ball. So we'll see if their offense is pretty poor or the defense is pretty poor. Then we'll know which side of the ball the coach is testing.
Hopefully Jameis doesn't eat a bad W.
Oh, man.
You know, it can't be infected.
Stan, I got to get your take on Jameis, man.
Oh, God.
I got to get your take on Jameis. I'm so excited for Jameis.
Yeah. Jameis is a different guy. And I think Jameis worked so hard on being a different guy, and it looks like he's more interested in being a different guy than being a great quarterback. Hopefully he'll mature soon enough because he's got a great opportunity with a great head coach with some weapons around him to revitalize his career. But he has to stay out of the mirror and in front of the microphone and trying to be this gregarious guy who thinks he can always say something clever.
Good on him, though, last year, too, that, you know, and I don't know how hard it is to sit behind Drew Brees, but it is a little bit of an ego hit to sit there and you've been a starter your whole life, won a national championship, to come and sit, be a backup. Be a backup, and he was a good soldier last year. He was a good soldier as a backup to Drew Brees.
Well, he wasn't an all-pro quarterback prior to that, and Drew Brees is a first-ballot Hall of Famer. To come in and sit and hopefully learn behind a Drew Brees is nothing to be ashamed of, so he should have gotten something out of that.
Stan, did you happen to hear his post-game interview after the big win the other day?
It was Jameis. I did. Yeah. It was Jameis being Jameis.
Just in case anyone missed it, this is Jameis after winning that game on Sunday against the Pats.
How did the defense in the running game give overall shape to the way this played out?
I was thinking this, and I'm so glad. I was hoping somebody would do it.
My trainer, he told me, he said, what did he say? He just told us to be prepared.
It's just gold.
Jameis being Jameis.
It's just gold.
Yes.
It's just gold. All right, guys, got to take a break. Hour number 2 of the program, just seconds away. So we will get into this Monday Night Football game as well, and there could be a new owner of the Denver Broncos. It's been in the Bolin family since 1984. They paid Bolin paid $78 million for it back in 1984, now worth $4 billion. What an incredible investment.
Must be nice.
Potential new suitors for the Denver Broncos, 2 names that you've heard before, by the way, as well. But we'll talk a little Monday Night Football and what you think of the alternate broadcast, the Manning brothers on the alternate broadcast. All that and more. Stan Edwards in for Braylon today. Armani and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
Opa! Introducing Papa Romano's new Greek pizza, a tasty blend of bold Greek flavors and Mediterranean toppings, including feta cheese and Greek dressing. Get a large Greek pizza for a limited time for $16.99. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey everybody, it's Maz for Legacy Partners Insurance. If you need insurance, you need Legacy Partners Insurance, an independent agent that knows the local insurance markets. That's Legacy Partners Insurance. They're independent, so they get lots of quotes. They make the carriers compete for your business. For personal, that means auto or home, they get 7 and 10 different quotes for you. And for commercial, over 50 different quotes for you. So you know you're going to get the best deal and I guess the best quality. They've been doing it for over 100 years, so you can trust their reputation. Give them a call, 586-209-4106. Better yet, go online to legacypartnersins.com/Woodward Sports. Fill out the information. Let someone from Team Maz at Woodward Sports take care of you. They will fill out all your information. It doesn't cost you a dime. That's it. You might save hundreds, maybe thousands a year. Legacy Partners Insurance. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Hour number 2 of the program. We certainly appreciate everybody watching on YouTube and Twitter. And if you're listening on the app or wherever you're consuming Woodward Sports Network, we certainly appreciate it. I'm Ryan Armani alongside Stan Edwards, who is in for Braylon Edwards today. Braylon's out there at the TPC of Michigan, formerly the TPC of Dearborn, playing in an MGM golf outing with Wayne Gretzky, Barry Sanders. You got D-Mac out there, Dave Rozema.
If Paulina Gretzky was out there, I'd be there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fantastic. And Tom Mazaway with us as well. How you doing today, Maz? I like that UNC Jordan.
I got my Carolina blue on today.
Absolutely.
Brings out the beauty in my eyes, the sparkle.
Also, the beautiful, kind of very similar color to the Houston Oilers.
Love your blue.
Oh, love your blue. Absolutely.
The House of Pain.
The House of Pain. The Oil Derrick. Our cheerleaders were called, when I first got drafted, I didn't know this. The Houston Oilers cheerleaders were called the Derrick Dolls.
Yep.
And I couldn't remember. I was trying to find out who is this Derrick guy that they named the cheerleaders after him. Well, this is an oil Derrick, which I didn't know.
You're teaching me something right now.
And so that's what the cheerleaders were named.
I have that helmet at home, by the way.
Do you really?
Oh,
I have one as well too.
You got to bring it in and get it signed.
I will. Yeah. Guaranteed.
That would be. And you're going to be heading to Tennessee for a reunion, right? Or
absolutely. For those who don't know, the Tennessee Titans are the former Houston Oilers. And they're having a Houston Oilers reunion the 26th of September down in Nashville, Tennessee, which is where the Titans are playing. So I'm looking forward to all of the players that I played with. I played with some absolutely phenomenal players who are wearing gold jackets. Not all of them, but I played with Dave Casper. I played with Peyton and Eli's dad, Archie Manning. I played with Warren Moon. I played with Mike Rozier. I played with Mike Munchak. I played with Earl Campbell.
Man,
a lot of gold jackets in that group.
Tyler Rose.
So, for a casual sports fan, it is different because the Cleveland Browns are not the Baltimore. Like the Cleveland Browns were able to keep their franchise in Cleveland and stay the Browns. So when when the Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore, Cleveland got to keep all the Browns' legacies. When Houston, the Oilers, moved to Tennessee,
they took it.
They took everything.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know why they're not called the Tennessee Oilers. I don't know the story behind that, but they're not. So, but
1 year they were.
They sure were.
Yep.
Exactly. I think Eddie George played with them as well.
Did.
Yeah.
Made it to a Super Bowl in the what do you call it? I always think of the Tennessee Titans in the movie Castaway when Tom Hanks comes back and what's the lady's name in that movie?
I don't remember, but Wilson was the ball.
Yeah, Wilson was the ball, but she's God, what's her name? I can't believe it. Somebody on the YouTube will help me, but she says, "Oh, and you wouldn't believe it. Tennessee has a football team, and they missed the Super Bowl by 1 yard. They missed it by 1 yard. That is great stuff. All right, guys.
Great tackle by Mike Jones.
Hey, Monday Night Football made their debut last night, and they made the debut with very impressive fashion. It was the first time at Allegiant Stadium that they welcomed fans because last year the stadium opened. There were no fans allowed, but the great voice of Bruce Buffer welcomed in the gang at Monday Night Football.
We are live from Las Vegas, as this is the moment you've all been waiting for. It's Monday Night Football, presenting from the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens, taking on your three-time world champion Las Vegas
You hate that, Maz. You hate that.
Couldn't he come up with a better catchphase than that?
But that's what it is.
I know his brother is "Let's get ready to rumble," and then you got it's showtime. That's Jimmy Lennon. This guy just says it's time.
That's what it is. He's the voice of the UFC.
I know, but it's time.
Or the announcer. It's time. Fighting out of the red corner.
I like all that. I just don't like it's time.
The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are world famous. But you ask any player in the league to come through any era, it's the Raiderettes, buddy.
Yeah.
It's the Raiderettes, trust me.
The Raiderettes. That's awesome.
I'll take the USC cheerleaders.
Hey, what's up with the Buffer guys, too?
I know.
Bruce Buffer last night on Monday Night Football. Then at Allegiant Stadium the other night, it was Michael Buffer,
the son.
who did the same thing.
In L.A.?
Let's get ready to rumble. It's SoFi.
Nice.
It's just an incredible kind of thing there. But
you know they got trademarks on those.
Oh gosh!
You can't say you can't do them. You can't play those without paying them.
What smart on their part?
That's good business development, right?
Way to monetize.
In the end, the Raiders beat the Ravens last night, 33-27 in overtime. Las Vegas. The kicker for Las Vegas was missing an OT. They had to take a delay of game.
I know. It's second down, and they're ready to kick the game-winning field goal.
Right.
And guess what? They're like, what it's going on? They had to take a delay of game. We found out today the kicker was missing. He was on the sideline just kicking into the net. So what's he do? Throws in the end zone for this game-winning touchdown. Check it out.
Going to throw. Drake picked up the pressure. All alone is Zay Jones, and he will prance into the end zone for the touchdown and the victory in overtime for the Raiders. And this celebration is for real.
So Lamar Jackson takes the L. They were up 14-0 in that game.
Right.
And
he looked good, too.
Yeah, he did.
He did up until overtime.
Yeah.
Right? I
mean, he
mean,
fumbled.
Yeah.
And guess what? He got sacked by Carl Nassib. Remember Carl Nassib? The first gay NFL athlete. And he's playing, and he's making a difference.
Yeah.
And his teammates are loving him.
Yeah, they did a story on him before the game. Absolutely. They did a story on him before the game. Now, this is interesting because, as I talked about with the Lions, and this is probably a product of it too, is no one knew where the kicker was, and he didn't know what down it was. First game jitters for coaching staff and everyone else, trying to get your organization and all the protocols in place. Sometimes they don't always appear in the first game. But I don't remember an opening weekend of professional football that was more exciting than this one. You go back to the Tampa Bay game when they played. There was some really exciting football this weekend, and the rest of the year should be much more exciting as well.
How about Gruden, man? Gruden, when they left Oakland, you remember him? He went to the black hole. He shakes everybody's hands.
Right.
He's in the beginning of this game. He was doing that,
right.
And you could see that He was holding back his tears. That's
Yeah.
how excited he was.
Yeah.
Check him out after the game.
You know, the thing with Gruden, though, too, guys, is, you know, this was a much different experience for all football players and coaches last year when you have to play games without fans. That's a very difficult thing to do. I mean, Jim Harbaugh talked about the atmosphere at the Big House on Saturday night, and everybody really talking about having full houses back and the impact that that has on the game, on the emotion, on the players, on the coaches, on everything. It matters to have fans in the stands, full stadiums.
John Gruden is good for football.
You bet.
As a coach and as a commentator. As long as he's involved in football, football is a much better place. But what he did after the game is that's what everybody paid money to see. They want to see somebody who's invested in the game, who's invested in the fans. Yes, he's part owner of the team. Yes, his contract will probably end with him being a 9-figure guy. But when you see a coach put that kind of heart and soul into a game, you love it.
And our guy, Chad Johnson, was there last night with his cousin and his brother, Steve, and they were sending us videos. And he said it's like nothing he's been to as far as a game.
Wow.
I mean, these people in Vegas, they are rabid. It's going to be the toughest ticket. And remember we talked about it last week?
Yeah.
The most expensive ticket in football is that Vegas Raiders team.
Wow.
You know, in whether you're John Gruden or Dan Campbell or whatever, fans, they just want to feel embraced by the people that they root for, whether it's a player, whether it's I would never call the guy the player's name out, but there was a player for the Tigers every year. It wouldn't sign any autographs.
Right.
You know, the fans just love this guy. Wouldn't sign any autographs. Wouldn't even look their way. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
You know, like,
they're missing the
why?
boat. They missed the boat.
Yeah. Fans want someone who's authentic.
Yes.
They want somebody to care about the game because they're paying their hard-earned dollars to come be entertained, to take them out of their real world, whatever it may be. When you got a John Gruden, a Magic Johnson, people like that, when you come, they're going to give you a show. They're going to give you your money's worth, and that makes it all the worthwhile by putting out that money to go see them perform.
I can't wait to go out to Vegas and watch a game.
Yeah.
We're going.
We're going.
We're going.
You take my credit cards. You keep them in your pocket.
I got you. We're just going to the game. That's
We're
it.
just going to the game.
We're going to the game.
We're flying right back.
I'll take you to see Barry Manilow over there.
Oh, there you go.
It's not unusual. Oh, wait.
That's Tom Jones.
Yeah. Different guy. Different crooner.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey, did you watch the Manning brothers alternate broadcast
I tried.
last night? A lot of people talking about that. We're going to play some clips for you from that Peyton and Eli broadcast on Monday Night Football last night. Also, want to get into some Matthew Stafford stuff. There's a lot going around on Matthew Stafford. We'll get into all of it next. Romani and Edwards. Stan Edwards in for Braylon today. Woodward Sports Network.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey guys, it's Maz. Did you know Levels is now open this Friday from 11 to 1? Join Joik Bell, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, even Art's going to be there at Levels in Centerline. Fish as well. Big D Energy rebroadcasting live and saving you money as well. Come out, meet the guys, plus get 10% off flour, edibles, and more when you mention Woodward Sports. Levels is located on Sherwood Ave between 9 and 10 Mile in Centerline. Come experience what everyone is talking about at Levels. We'll see you Friday with Big D Energy right here on Woodward Sports.
Stan, we made a big deal yesterday about Eli and Peyton Manning doing the alternate broadcast on Monday Night Football. At one point, I said that I was way more interested in watching this alternate broadcast instead of the regular broadcast, and I might have lasted 6 minutes, 7 minutes of this before I went back to the old broadcast. If I can quickly just give you a sense of what's going on, let me play the the second clip here, Alex, the Peyton 47-second video.
Wide line, can, 3-jet church.
Here we go. Be alert on the weave here, right? 1 mid trip stripe bunch, H settle, 51 scat, H weave rail, wide line, can, 3-jet church. Blue 20, blue 20, easy. Can.
What's the can mean?
He just canned it right there. Those are 2 plays I just called. I cannot, this helmet doesn't fit.
Shocking that a helmet doesn't fit you. They didn't have a double XL helmet to fit that forehead.
All right. He called 2 plays in the huddle, right? The first.
So that just gives you a sense of what it was. I thought it was way hokey. And it was not at all what I thought. I went back to the game because I wanted to watch the game. I didn't want to watch Peyton and Eli watch the game.
Right. The Peytons, the Mannings, Peyton specifically, they're trying to create a media empire. And I think they believe, and I don't know that they're incorrect, that everybody will buy into their brand no matter what kind of content they put out there. Peyton is a pretty shrewd guy, and he was smart. He did not want to get into football and be the person who had to criticize his own brother while he was playing. He waited till Eli retired, and so now that he's retired, they're putting a lot of different content, a lot of different areas. He's awfully good. Mm-hmm. Last night was maybe a bit overboard for me as well. I want to watch the hardcore game. I don't want to do that. But there's a demographic for that. There are people that will buy that type of content, and I think they'll be successful at it.
I dug some of it, and I went back and forth with it. Remember, this is week 1.
Yeah.
They didn't do the pregame. At 8:15, they're getting the countdown. 3, 2, 1, you're on. There's no host. It's just those 2 guys. I think they should have probably had a host. Someone could get him in and out of commercial breaks. Someone that could teach him. I like what Peyton did as John Gruden. Here, check this out. A couple seconds of Peyton Manning as John Gruden. Right there.
I've always wanted to play John Gruden. This is what John Gruden is saying to Derek Carr in the headset. They're going, no huddle. Eli, they're going, Bronco right tight, shorty flash. I'll let you know. Call it.
All right, hey guys, here we go. We got Bronco right tight, shorty flash on the freeze play, ready, break.
Here we go. Hey, it's cover two, run 58 freedom.
Hey, let me get to my cadence here. I got to get it. White 18.
I'm just so excited.
White 18, hut. Hey, no one's moving. Hey, I see it's cover 2. Hey, red, 58 freedom.
Now, you're not seeing much of the game there, but you're getting to see 2 guys that you like. But I switched it back because I'm a play-by-play guy, and I just want to hear those guys. And I think Steve Levy, Brian Griese, and Lou Riddick, I think they probably got more popular yesterday than they were coming into the game.
I think so, too. And Stan, as a football fan, for much of the game, they had the game on a screen, and then they had Eli on a screen, and Peyton on a screen, and I'm thinking, I just want to watch the game.
Right.
Now, if they just called the game, like talked over the game, I think that would be interesting.
And it will be interesting to see. In fact, they do that moving forward. Some of the feedback they'll get this week, I'll be interested in finding out how much of the pros and the cons of what they had to show that people will buy into. But I'm like you. Levy, Griese, and Riddick, I love that. I'm not real big on a 3-man booth, but I'm okay with those guys. Do a pretty good job of not stepping on one another toe.
I love that, Stan.
But when they had Booger McFarland up in the thing and floating around, I didn't.
Too hokey.
Listen,
very hokey.
They were in different rooms last night, next to each other, but in different rooms, because going forward, Eli is going to be in Jersey, Denver, and Peyton will be in Denver. So last night was like a practice run for them. Even though they were with each other, they were in different rooms. So it's going to be a little different.
Fair enough. One story, though, that Peyton told was in regards to a story that he had with Jim Harbaugh. I found this to be interesting. We'll play that for you, get your reaction to it.
Confirm this is you. What kind of sandwich did Jim Harbaugh order when the 49ers worked you out back in 2012? Quick story, I watched film with the 49ers. I threw for the 49ers. We're down at Duke at the Cutcliffe House. Me, John Harbaugh's brother Jim, and Greg Roman. We're leaving. Mrs. Cutcliffe is like, would y'all like something to eat? She really didn't want us.
Just being nice.
She was just trying to be nice, right? I'm like, no thanks. Greg Roman's like, no thanks. Coach Cutcliffe's like, no thanks. Jim Harbaugh's like, yeah, I'll have a PB&J. I'll take a PB&J. Of
course, a little PB&J.
And she's like, I haven't made one of those since my kids were 8. I'm not sure. Yeah, but if you're offered, I'll take a PB&J. Anyway, Greg Roman's like, what kind of sandwich did Harbaugh order? I said, PB&J. He's like, this is you. Here's your play.
Just to recap it for you, they're at the Cutcliffe House in 2012 throwing for the 49ers. Everybody walks out. Mr. Cutcliffe says, you want something to eat? Just trying to be nice. Everybody says, no. Yeah, I'll have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's Jim Harbaugh. He's always going to be turning right when everyone else turns left. That's who he is. I don't think he purposely wants to be different. He just is different.
What do you like that one, Maz?
Oh, I love it. You know, I like any story that kind of relates back to us here in Detroit, Michigan. So
right.
Harbaugh, it's kind of nice to hear something funny about him instead of just looking him out there comparing generals to astronauts like he did earlier today.
Yeah.
Just win, baby.
Yeah, and again, I saw Peyton and Eli as little tykes running around the locker room when I played for the Houston Oilers because we had traded for Archie Manning. I had no idea what those guys' future was going to be about.
What talent, you know what I mean? Like when you played the talent in your locker room and all those guys with gold jackets, all they're kids, your kids, plural, all of them, just also talented. It's like,
Stan, did you get was the steak there when you were there?
I missed
Stabler?
him. I missed Dave Stabler, yeah.
Man.
I miss him, and I miss Pastorini as well.
Dante Pastorini, who went to the Raiders eventually. Then broke his leg, and guess who came in?
Yeah.
Jim Plunkett. Won 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
Continue on with a little NFL football talk now, guys. We made a big deal of the 5 rookie quarterbacks in the first round of the NFL draft. All 5 got some playing time this weekend. We'll put up the numbers for the NFL rookie scorecard, if you will. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence lost, Zach Wilson lost, Mac Jones lost. Those were the 3 quarterbacks that got starts. Trey Lance, of course, threw a touchdown pass against the Lions. 49ers won the game. Justin Fields did not start the game. He did have a rushing touchdown in that game against the Rams on Sunday Night Football. They too lost, but 4 of the 5 quarterbacks, their teams lost on opening weekend. Stan, as you look at this list, and I think I know what you're going to say, but which guy on that list do you think is going to be the best of that bunch?
Without a doubt, it's the second guy on the list. It's Zach Wilson. He has the most skill. And the reason why I just say he's going to be the best with the most skill, because you have to start being able to be that guy that in any weather, in any given day, you can spin that football. Now, who's going to be the best is the one who's supported by the best supporting cast. Your quarterback coach, your offensive coordinator, your defense. Then your running game. And then if either of those guys will have all of those pretty adequate supporting cast, then that guy out of any of them will end up having the best career. But I have to start with who has the best skill set, and that's Zach Wilson.
How much confidence is taken away from a quarterback when you're doing everything right? And you got guys dropping the football all over the place, coming out of their breaks, coming out of the running wrong routes. Because I was watching that Zach Wilson game a little bit. He was playing beautifully.
Right.
And he's got guys running the wrong routes. He's got guys dropping passes. I mean, Corey Davis, God love him, from Western Michigan. I wonder how much of a confidence hit that gives to a young player when you're doing everything right, but everybody around you isn't.
As a quarterback, they're paying you too much money to lose your confidence. Yeah. If you're doing everything right and you have receivers dropping balls, you have to get over it, and you have to go to that receiver and lift him up because you got to go back to him. Mm-hmm. So as a quarterback, that's part of your job, is to not feel sorry for yourself because your teammates aren't helping you. They're paying. That is the most important position in team sports on the face of the planet Earth.
Go back to Peyton Manning's rookie year. He got torched. He got pummeled. And guess what? Could be one of the greatest 3 quarterbacks to have ever played in the NFL, Peyton Manning. Now go back to Zach Wilson. He made some throws that our guy, J.J. McCarthy, made that one throw. Right. Running across the field and throwing across the other side.
Yep.
Zach Wilson could do that. He's a little guy. He's barely 6 foot.
Exactly.
He's got it. Trevor Lawrence has it, too.
He does. Absolutely does. But I think, as from a talent perspective, I like Zach Wilson a little bit better. So, but when you're playing that position, you're giving a lot of leeway. And again, quarterbacks are ranked by wins. We all know Trent Dilfer wasn't a really good quarterback, but he won a Super Bowl. We all thought Jim Flacco and Matt Ryan were pretty darn good quarterbacks, but it turned out that maybe they're not as good. But they all were paid a ton of cash, and so they have to take the good with the bad.
No doubt. All right, guys. The Denver Broncos could have a new owner next year, and it could be one of two very familiar names to people. Also, Matt Stafford just living his best life out there in L.A.
Oh, man.
I mean, lathering up in Los Angeles, Dodger blue and all that. We'll get to Denver Broncos, Matt Stafford, plenty more, and will Cam Newton get back into the NFL? We've got a lot more of the show for you guys. It is Armani and Edwards. This is The Bottom Line on Woodward Sports Network.
Would you like to win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time?
Then watch as we turn this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
Watch the Call Sam Chopper Shop on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey guys, I'd like to talk to you about Papa Romano's. You can go Greek with Papa Romano's for a limited time only. Papa Romano's introducing their new Greek pizza. Ooh, wee. It's a classic blend of bold Greek flavors and tasty Mediterranean toppings. Take a look at it right now on your screen. Tomatoes, olives, onions, feta cheese, and more. Go get a large Greek pizza for $16.99. Opa! Sorry, I had to do that. You like that, Maz? Stan?
Oh, I think it was good.
I was at Pegasus
now you
the other night.
trademark it. Yeah, exactly.
I got open the other night at Pegasus.
Oh, yeah. Did you get any octopus over there?
No, I didn't get the octopus. Just had the
Very
opa.
good. It's
spinach pie.
It's very good. So I want to put this tweet up for you, Stan. This is awesome, I think. So the Denver Broncos have been owned by Pat Bowlen in the Bowlen family. Sure. He passed away in 2019. It's been a terrible legal battle in the family. It's like a blessing and a curse to have money, right?
Yeah. I guess I'd like to find out.
Yeah, you and me both, my friend. But the Denver Broncos are rumored to be going up for sale. And you know who wants to buy the team? Jeff Bezos. So This is the tweet from our friend Joe Pompliano, and he's a really good follow on Twitter. Really good money guy. The team is currently valued at $4 billion, which is about 2% of Bezos' net worth, or equal to the median American family spending less than $2,500. I mean, you got to just adjust your head on that one.
Jeez. Well, here's what I do know. If Jeff Bezos becomes an owner in this league, Jeff Bezos quietly, I shouldn't say quietly, likes Jeff Bezos or love him some Jeff Bezos. So it'd be interesting to see if he's able to unseat Jerry Jones as the most popular charismatic owner in professional sports. Jerry Jones loves him some Jerry Jones, and so does Jeff Bezos. Those are two different categories of money. I'm not a billionaire, so I really can't speak from experience. But you're talking about a billionaire and a trillionaire.
Yeah.
So I think if Jeff Bezos became an owner in the NFL, he would have some creative things happening to the league. But it also would be see how envious some of the other owners might be of him and his pocket change.
Maz, do you think it'd be good for the NFL or bad for the NFL if Jeff Bezos owned a professional franchise in the Denver Broncos?
Let's face it, man. It's out of our league. These guys, they buy these teams. They're like toys. But a guy like Jerry Jones, he takes it to heart. He wants that team to win. He's the general manager.
Sure.
The only owner as a general manager. Bezos won't be a general manager. I think he'd be a terrific owner for the NFL going forward. Don't forget, next year, I told you the rumor, NFL Sunday ticket, going to Amazon.
Yep.
He's in.
Yeah, he is in.
He's in.
He wants in to the
Why
NFL.
Why wouldn't you want him?
Well, here's another name that is being rumored to want to own this franchise, and that's Jay-Z, who is worth $1.4 billion. So he would need some investor help to make that go through. I think that would be good for the NFL as well. We talk about, minority ownership. Why not have Jay-Z, who has worked with Roger Goodell, why not get Jay-Z making all the decisions for the Denver Broncos?
Whether it's Jay-Z or Jeff Bezos, I just hope they hire competent front office people.
Yeah.
What I don't want to see is the wrong owner become hands-on too much or has no idea that he's getting a sales pitch from a coach who's not ready to be a head coach, or from a general manager who's not ready to be a general manager, and they just screw up franchises. I say that, and we just got rid of Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, who never should have had either title here in the city, from a long time and long-standing run club by the Ford family. So for me, it's just the league is always better when you don't have a doormat.
Yeah.
Every week you got to come out and fight and play because you're playing a good organization and a good franchise.
I wish Bezos would buy the Lions. Make the Fords an offer they can't refuse. I mean it.
He has the ability to do so.
Make it $5 billion.
Assuming they have a price.
Yeah, they don't. Why would you sell? Why would you sell?
Yeah.
I would
like print money.
Even Jeff Bezos' money is not going to cost any of the Ford family or the Firestone family to live in a different home.
Correct.
They're fine.
I would like to see the owners meeting with Jay-Z and Jerry Jones. How would you like that owners dinner?
Yeah.
Hey,
that could be interesting.
You watch The Rock on HBO. What's that show? Is it Playmaker?
Playmaker?
No. It just went off the air.
Oh God, yeah.
The Rock.
Oh yeah,
on HBO.
Not Billions. I know what you're talking about.
It's not called Playmakers. It's something
Playmakers is the old one. I forgot what it was.
Oh yeah.
I think it's called.
No.
What?
I should know that.
Well, let's just.
How could I?
Well, anyway,
it's a show I love.
But can you imagine an owners meeting with Jay-Z, with Jeff Bezos, and with
Ballers.
Jerry Jones?
Ballers.
That's the name of it. Ballers.
I wish The Rock would own
Playmakers,
our team.
Ballers, same thing.
The Rock would be a great owner. He'd be a great president.
Yeah.
I'd vote for him.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I own the team, and this is, if I owned a team, and every fan I think has done this, right? You're the owner of a team. Who's your first call? My first call, and this could be, you can kill me for this all you want, because we've seen it a little bit because Matt Millen was here. But my first call, if I owned a team, would be to Louis Riddick. I'd say, Louis, help me construct a game plan for how I want my organization to be run.
I'd call Bill Parcells, even though he's 80.
I think you're wrong there.
That's fine.
I think you're wrong. I think it's a different game. I think Bill Parcells reminds me of, and that might be the problem with Jim Harbaugh too. I mean, it's like the game eventually passes you by, I think. And I don't know. Louis Riddick to me is the first guy I'd call if I owned a team.
I would call Louis Riddick. I don't know if he would be the first call, but I would call a lot of different people in a lot of different demographics in a lot of different parts of the game. I would call somebody who understands player personnel. I would call somebody who understands how to hire and run a good, solid organization. I will call somebody. See, for me, I don't want to be an owner that's going to meddle. But because I have a little bit of clue of how the game should be played, I want to make sure that I don't have to worry about if this person is doing their job. When I've looked at over the years at some of the general managers and some of the coaches who've donned the sideline and front offices in this league, I'm like, how did they get hired? What did they tell someone in order to get hired? And so I'm going to make sure that the people that run my organization are very competent, they got great listening skills, and it's not about them, because it's my money.
I think I would want to hire or call Louis Riddick just to say, what do I do next?
Right.
You know what I mean? Not necessarily to make him the president or the general manager, but what do I do next? I love the guy on ESPN.
And Louis and I have spoken before, and he is absolutely an outstanding intellect when it comes to how to run a football organization. He would absolutely be high on my list.
I was always a champion for Charles Woodson, Chris Spielman, who was now
he was at the game last night, Woodson.
These are the guys that you want to build it around. But I'd make Bill Parcells my general. I would.
Yeah.
Speaking of the general, he had all the command that you could have and all the smiles. Matthew Stafford living his best life out there in L.A. His wife, Kelly, says football has not been fun for Matthew in an awful long time from her morning podcast. But this is it. Kelly Stafford right there having so much fun. And he got the game ball. I don't know if you got a chance to look at this. He got the game ball in the locker room after the game.
Bring it in your tank, guys. Couple game balls I want to be able to give out. These won't be the last ones. It's a great job giving your first win. All right, with real fans. Stands, give it up for yourselves. Where's Mr. Kroenke at? All right, first win in this amazing stadium. All right, hey, first win in this amazing stadium with fans. House that he built. Give it up for also, a lot of guys did a lot of great things. We can build on this, but first win, doing a great job leading the charge. Where's Matthew Stafford?
So what? Oh, here it is. He was just breaking the team down there. So
it hurt when he says Rams on third. 1, 2, 3. Rams.
But there was a smile.
He didn't slip up and say Lions. But
on him, Stan, that I just have not seen before. Right. And I'm sure, as you know, as everybody in Detroit knows, did you know he went to high school with Clayton Kershaw? I mean, how many times have we heard that story? But he got to see Kershaw pitch last night wearing his Dodger blue. But this smile from Stafford I've never seen him smile this much.
Right. You see the locker room. SoFi Stadium is an architectural dream. That's on my bucket list to make sure I get to that stadium. There is not a bigger fan not named Stafford than I am. I've always been a huge fan of his because, first of all, he can spin it with the best of them. But number two, he never made excuses why he was here. Mm-hmm. He never pointed the finger, and he played a lot of games hurt. I mean, he had all kind of things wrong with his finger, and he still found a way to play and throw the football. So I'm going to be a huge fan of his. What's going on with him right now, he's with an organization that know how to get folks open. Now, they got some good wide receivers. They have a better play caller. And if they can continue to surround him with good players and play good defense, we're going to see the Matthew Stafford here, and a lot of people are going to say, we had him, and we let him go. Absolutely, you did.
I couldn't agree with you more, Stan. And Maz, we talked about it this morning a little bit. Just that smile from Matthew Stafford. I sincerely mean this, and I'm not just trying to make some bold statement on this show right now. I have never seen him smile so much as what we saw last night, sitting in the crowd last night at Dodger Stadium, rooting his good buddy Clayton Kershaw on. That smile says so much. I think he can play free and loose. All the pressure in the world is on him because I do think it is Super Bowl or bust. At least get to the NFC Championship game for Matthew Stafford. But again, that smile is everything.
I'm jealous because I want to feel like that.
Right.
Everyone should want to feel like that. His wife said she knew that he really, really was happy when he came out of the tunnel and he had his arms up and he was pumping his arms up and he was holding the game ball up. And she said he's never done that. Now, there hasn't been many wins here in Detroit for him to be able to do that. He's there at a brand new stadium that you said is second to none, which I believe is true. He's in Los Angeles. It's sunny. The people are good looking. He's got a coach that is just in love with him.
Right.
I mean, everything is pointing for him. His kid's got to be happy as a lark. It's all good, man. And he's going to win in the toughest division in football. He's going to win.
Yeah, he did have Ndamukong Suh, but he's got Aaron Darnold and Jalen Ramsey on the other side of the ball that's going to make his life a lot easier. And again, that coaching staff, that offensive coaching staff, is really second to none when you're talking about play calling and getting him in the best position to be successful and scheming his receivers to be open. So what's going to happen here is everybody going to say, well, he didn't do that here. Yes, he did. He just didn't have the help, so you didn't see it. Matthew Stafford is not doing anything that he hasn't been capable of doing or didn't do here. It just because of the surroundings and the environment and the culture, no one was able to see it.
It's funny because you have such a talent like that, at quarterback the most important position in all of sports.
Absolutely.
And how, as an organization, aren't you able to make anything from that? How does that even happen? I mean, and we can go down the list of the great players in this organization, from Barry Sanders to Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford. And I do think the narrative is going to change on Stafford. I think he's going to go to L.A. I think he's going to win playoff games, plural. Will he win a Super Bowl? Everything's got to go right for somebody to win a Super Bowl. I don't know, but I'll tell you this much. I believe he's got a hell of an opportunity to win a Super Bowl with that franchise and that defense.
Oh, by the way, it's in L.A.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's in L.A. But for me, the Ford family, I think, to some degree, take too much of the blame here, because this is the same family. When they were just getting ready to leave Pontiac, the team they had up there when Barry Sanders, they had a really good organization, good team. Where I think the Ford family may have made some mistakes is putting the team in the hands of people who are not competent enough to run the team. They either didn't know how to hire good coaches, or coaches that didn't know how to evaluate and draft and develop good players. It was always one or the other going wrong, and it kept the team in a dismal downward spiral that hasn't seemed to stop.
And who knows if the time is now to stop it or not. We can complete our thoughts on this. I got to get a break. I'm late for a break. Armani and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Hey, it's Maz for BetQL. You got to get the BetQL app right now because you want to beat your sports book. You want that advantage. You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll ever need to make smart bets. BetQL's best bet computer model scans 350,000 unique bets per year and gives you the best recommendation for every game and the reason why you should bet it. Their platform's got all the data and analytics you'll need. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now. Download BetQL to get started. Enter the discount code WSN at checkout for 25% off any of their subscription offerings. BetQL app. Get it right now.
Stan Edwards sitting in for Braylon Edwards today. Braylon out playing in the MGM outing with Wayne Gretzky and Barry Sanders. D-Mac out there as well. They're at the TPC.
That's a hell of a line.
Michigan. I know, right? No,
yeah, it is.
Absolutely. Hey, Stan, you mentioned a moment ago that you think the Ford family gets too much of the blame when you talk about the lack of success with this franchise. I don't know how you can't run into one. Like all of the hiring that you do for this franchise, all of the general managers, all of the coaches, how you can't run into a good one, because it's been so long. I mean, you're talking about, 67 years since their last championship, something like that. It's one playoff win. It's really hard not to blame them because it's just the one constant.
Yeah, well, Ralph Wilson the owner of the Buffalo Bills, caught that flack for a long time, too. God rest his soul. The Buffalo Bills were a doormat for a long time, too. But, back in the day, a long time ago, that they had fairly decent teams, and when they had Jim Kelly. To your point, the Lions have had not very little success, if any, in the past 30-plus years. I think sometimes sometimes we oversimplify it as to just hire the right coach, just hire the right general manager, just draft the right players. It's difficult. I mean, I talk to guys all the time that play, and we all think we could run the team better than that. And some of us probably could. But that being said, what I do know is it's really easy to sit on the sofa and say what should be done. And I just think that there's only so many good football minds that can run the front office and so many good coaches that will bring a team. See, what happens to the Lions now, and I've noticed this over the years, because the rumor is out there in the coaching circle, you go to the Lions, it's a money grab, get your friends paid. That's all it's about, because you're not going to be successful if you're near the end of your career or it's the only chance that you have on the table coming up for you to be a head coach, you take the Lions job. But when you get there, you're really in the back of your mind is not expecting to be here very long. So you take the money and you bring all your buddies in who might not be the best qualified position coaches or coordinators. You bring them all in to make sure that they enrich themselves, and you just see what happens from there.
I know you bring up Ralph Wilson and the Bills, Stan.
Mm-hmm.
They've been to 4 Super Bowls, man.
Yeah, they have.
Now, the Lions are the only team in the NFL that has not made a Super Bowl, a non-expansion team, I might add. They're it. Not just once were they close in 1991. Just once.
Who are the others? I guess you'd throw them in the expansion would be the
Texans,
Jacksonville,
Texans,
Browns.
Jags, Browns, the new Browns.
Yeah, the new Browns.
The old Browns won 2
Super
Super
Bowls.
That's it.
Right.
The Lions need someone that sit beside them that really understand the game. They had, if I read correctly, and it's rumored, but it was in print, that they hired Ernie Accorsi to be a consultant for them.
Remember that?
And I think he was the guy that recommended Matt Patricia and Bobby Quinn. So Ernie Accorsi has tenure in the league. Mm-hmm. He has been successful in the league. How he hired those 2 guys or recommend those 2 guys, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that for a second, That's not some bum off the street that you're picking up at 15 in Woodward. That's a guy that's got a Super Bowl pedigree.
That's a money grab or someone doing a favor or owe someone somewhere down the line in someone's tree. That's the only thing I can make of it.
Now, look, the Lions had a couple of good coaches come here. Well, Bobby Ross, we turned him into a mental patient. By the time he left here, he was ready.
I don't coach that stuff.
Piss off.
He was
one
ready.
of the greatest running backs to ever play football.
He was at the end of his career and rope by the time he was done here. But we brought in a guy I like, Jim Schwartz. I liked him.
Right.
Jim Caldwell. I liked him. I didn't like his in-game coaching, but I liked his coaching. He brought that team together, and they all brought those players together.
Right.
That was a good Lions team.
But Caldwell, I believe, was like 5-23 in his tenure as coach of the Lions against teams that finished with plus 500 records.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm
just saying they're 2 successful coaches. Caldwell went to a Super Bowl. Yeah, he had Peyton Manning, but he went to a Super Bowl.
So now we're talking as if we don't expect a whole lot out of Dan Campbell in this regime.
No, I do. I do. I do. I like this regime. It's just, but that's based on hope. I guess
at this point it is.
It's based on hope. It's based on one game where the Lions didn't quit, and we talk about them like they're a bunch of third-grade peewee team. Oh, we're so happy that they didn't quit out
there. But you do hear some little things coming out of Allen Park from Dan Campbell and the staff. That's encouraging. Mm-hmm. They're not here just to, hey, listen. No, they look like they have a plan. They know what they want to do. I don't think they have a very talented team. Mm-hmm. And that's going to take time as well because they're playing with a team where only, 6 or 8 of them are players that they drafted. There are some that they brought in as free agents. But I think by the end of next year, we'll have a better sense of if, in fact, this regime can finally get this program turned around and this staff and this coaching staff and this front office, know what the heck they're doing.
Going to take a break. Come right back when we do some videos of the day. The bottom line, videos of the day. Maz gets a smirk on his face every time he gets to introduce one of those. He's smiling now. We love it. Hey, it's Armani and Edwards. It's the bottom line. It's Woodward Sports Network.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Before we get to the bottom line videos of the day, Cam Newton's still unemployed. I'm not surprised by this, but I am, and I know that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But you look around the league, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is hurt for a football team, and You still love saying
Stupid football team.
I love saying football team. But Ron Rivera, his former coach with the Carolina Panthers, is the head coach there.
Who's immune compromised, by the way.
Yes, he is. But he pretty much put the kibosh on that. He says we are sticking with, what's his name, Taylor Heineken?
And they hired a guy for the practice squad that no one knows.
So, Stan, is Cam Newton done?
I don't think he's done. I just think at this point he's difficult to bring into your organization in season because there's other things that come with Cam. Cam is a big personality. He'll be the backup, and the media on media day after practice are going to go to his locker and ask for quotes. And Cam is just not going to not say anything because that's not Cam being Cam. And so at this point of the season, it's difficult to bring Cam in. When you bring Cam in the offseason where you can slowly migrate him into your program, and if you bring him into a team that has an established quarterback, you kind of get the newness of having Cam in your locker room out of the way, so once training camp and the season starts, it's not a big deal anymore. It would be right now, and it could be a distraction. Now, not that he won't be brought in, but I think it'll be in a situation where there is a major injury or career-ending injury for a veteran starting quarterback, or you got a good veteran backup that won't be intimidated by having Cam sit behind him.
Yeah. I totally understand that. I guess I'm just I always feel like talent. I always want to believe that talent wins out above all else, and I don't know.
No, it's fit.
Yeah.
It's talent and fit. And I don't know that if I'm running an organization that I'm going to just bring Cam in and bring him in.
Just to bring him in, sure.
Yeah, because there are certain things that if you don't have a strong head coach that can really back the media down and say, no, don't do that here. A lot of coaches can't do that. They don't know how to say the right thing at the microphone. They just kind of slip on their words and say something wrong about Cam or right about Cam or wrong about the starter or the backup. And now media goes and they're starting to tweet, clicks and all that. And now you got an uproar in your locker room. If you don't have a strong head coach who can minimize some of that, then they just stay away from it. And so to me, there's only like 4 to 5 head coaches in the league that can do that. And those 4 to 5 head coaches have their quarterback. So that's not an issue for them.
You got anything there, Maz?
I said weeks ago, and I know Braylon's a big fan of Cam. I'm like, I personally think he's done. I don't think he could throw anymore. Braylon disagrees with me. I think he's a good quarterback for a quarterback sneak. Couple yards here and there. That's about it. As far as being a leader, I don't know. Has he ever really been a leader, Cam Newton, or has he been a me kind of guy?
15-1 Super Bowl.
I think we see on the outside, we get caught up in there.
Yeah.
And because of that, and that's a fair question. That's a very fair question, because if he was a me guy, there's going to be somebody in that locker room who has a platform, who wants clicks to other players. They'll let some things slide out about him. I've not heard any of his teammates say, he's really difficult to be around because, here we go with Cam again. What else did he say? Haven't heard that. So he appears to be someone who loves to hear himself talk. And to his credit, people love to hear him talk. So he speaks his mind.
He's got a great wardrobe, too.
Yeah.
Hey, man, he was one of the most talented quarterbacks to come out of college.
Yeah, he was.
He was something.
I wonder how much he spends on his wardrobe a year.
Plenty.
Hey, time now for the bottom line videos of the day. This day in 1991, one of the most iconic catches in Michigan football history. Elvis Gerbach hits Desmond Howard against Notre Dame for the touchdown. Take a look.
So 4th and a foot. To fire for it. They went for it all. A diving pass for a touchdown. Holy cow. Would you believe this? Turned up the sideline. Now watch him make the pump move. Then gets the corner to bait. See, now what? Pump.
So great to see Gary Moeller, Lou Holtz. I mean, does anybody walk the sidelines like Lou Holtz?
He walked with a purpose, except when he was with the New York Jets, when he literally walked out.
Right. That was an absolutely great call. And Gary Moeller was that way as a coach. He was a riverboat gambler. I remember when I was playing in the league, and a lot of colleges were starting to run the play called the counter tray that the Washington Redskins made famous. We ran the counter tray too. He pulled me in the office, he took me to the chalkboard and wanted to do it. And we were talking about that. But also that year too, he had started going no huddle offense, and Michigan had never gone no huddle offense before. I said, man, you are really trying to take us out of the Stone Age jar. He said, we're just trying to win some games here.
Speaking of Gary Moeller, I wonder if Paul Ettinger didn't make that field goal kick in 2000 for the Chicago Bears
Christmas
to beat
Eve.
the Detroit Lions. I was at that game, actually. And Matt Millen has probably never hired. Gary Moeller remains the coach of the Lions, and who was doing a really nice job for the Lions at the time. Man, what might have been?
That's for sure.
Maz, you love this next one.
I do. Let's take you. I'm gonna skip that one. I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, I got the cat. We're gonna do the hanging cat. This was from Miami of Florida's game on Saturday at what used to be Joe Robbie Stadium. It's Hard Rock Stadium now. The game was a dud, but the people were locked in on this little kitty cat that got into the stands. And check this cat out. He was hanging on for dear life with his claws. And then people were under him with the United States flag to try to catch him in case he fell. Check this out.
Pat, you see that up there? Sure do. I mean, what do you think that is? Looks like a cat. What do you think he's doing up there, Pat? I mean, usually a cat isn't hanging from a roof like that. Like a cat on a hot tin roof. That's how I'm feeling right now, Pat. Dangling, spinning. You ever see one of those Cirque du Soleil shows, Pat? I mean, this looks a lot like one of those right now, except it's a cat. He's falling to the 5. They caught him. This is unreal, Pat. He's holding him up like Simba, the Lion King. Ah, Chingonya, Mama Kichi Baba. How many lives do you think this cat's got left, Pat? What do you mean? I feel like he's used a bunch of them up already if he's doing stuff like this.
I neglected to tell you it was Frank Caliendo as the great Pat Summerall and John Madden. That's the whole gist of it. Right. I blew my own video. So sorry about that.
Like, to be honest with you, dumb question. And I love Frank Caliendo because I get these voices. But does anybody under the age of 40 even know these voices? Like John Madden and Pat Summerall? I mean, I don't think anybody under the age of 40 knows them.
I don't think they do. What was amazing about that to me is the second most amazing thing. The first thing is the cat held on and failed. The guy caught him. The second thing is there was a quick thought of me is that once the cat realized he was safe, that he was going to try to just take off and scratch everybody around him. But the cat, I guess, was so happy that someone finally saved his lives. He got it, that the cat just kind of looked around and was like, whoa, hey, thank God. I thought the cat was really just going to start going crazy and just trying to get out and run someplace.
No doubt, man.
I have got to upgrade my videos. Sorry about that, man.
That was good. Yeah. Hey, man, you're okay, Maz. You got one.
I got another old one here, though.
Quickly.
People know Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott. Did you remember them from this old TiVo commercial? Check this out.
TiVo?
Yeah.
What's the matter, Ronnie? Masculine itching? How'd you know? When I experience masculine itching, I reach for Extra Strength Itch Stopper Plus. How does it work? When your body heats up, Ronnie, enzymes mixed with bacteria can cause unsightly discomfort. Boy, howdy. But with just 2 fingers of the patented oily balm applied to the affected area, you can be swinging.
Get TiVo and skip the stuff you don't want to see. Learn more at TiVo.com.
Isn't that classic?
I never saw that.
I didn't either.
I try to find you once here.
I never saw that one.
No, I never saw it either. Because they had me for a minute. You had told me it was a TiVo commercial, and I completely forgot about when I saw it. I'm like, wait a minute. When did they do this? Because this is not making any sense to me at all.
Dude, who had a TiVo? I had a TiVo.
I didn't have a TiVo.
I loved my TiVo.
I didn't have a TiVo.
I had a TiVo.
And it became what's now a DVR.
Absolutely.
Everybody has. Hey, last one I'm going to show you today is this gamer. These kids, these gamers. His name is Cake Assault. He dislocates his shoulder after winning a game. Check this kid out. Check him out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He injured himself celebrating a victory.
Are you
winning a
kidding
video
me?
game?
When was that?
Just recently.
Sons, warm up next time.
Isn't that
Just
something?
warm up a little bit
my
next time.
God.
Those are the
How do you
athletes of
explain
today.
that? What do you say? How do you explain
I
how you
mean-
separated your shoulder?
I mean, he got to get an endorsement deal like that, like Martin Gramatica.
Somebody.
Oh my God! Hey Stan, I can't thank you enough for sitting in today, my friend.
This was fun. I'm lead blocking and filling in for him once again.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'll tell you, we have Stan every Tuesday throughout the football season, and we got a little bit more than we bargained for today with you, my man. Thanks so much,
Thanks
Stan.
for having me.
And Braylon will be back tomorrow. We'll get stories from tales from golfing with Barry and Wayne.
He better have Wayne Gretzky on the air tomorrow. That's
there
all
you
I
go.
got to say.
There you go. Absolutely.
Or Barry.
Well, I mean,
Or both.
I will tell you. You know, DMAC is probably going to get the hockey guy
Right.
over Braylon.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But Braylon, then we get Barry.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Deal?
I produce DMAC show too. Get him, DMAC.
Right.
Stan, this is
All right.
great. Maz, great
was
job.
fun.
Fish, Meyer, great job, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey, share the show with your friends out there. We appreciate you out there on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever you're watching, the Apple Podcasts, all of them. I can't even list them. There's so many places to get Woodward Sports, but we appreciate you doing so. The bottom line, Woodward Sports Network.
Yep.
All right, Big D Energy here. Look at, we got the big Bray. Bottom line, we're out here. MGM, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, you love him. Number 20, Barry Sanders. Saw the great one right there.
Nice swing.
The great one, Dave Rosemont. Oh, and Wayne Gretzky. How was the swing?
It was a nice swing.
Nice swing.
Right down the middle.
Nice
Right
swing.
where
Now we can see why DJ's so successful. Dino, Murph.
What was Dustin Johnson doing this game?
Oh, Barry, attaboy. Yeah. Oh!